Okay, yes, I am aware. The time has come for us to talk about our Pathfinder 2nd edition min-maxing video, but a combination of change in policy here at the channel, patron requests, and things I'm doing myself have led both to today's min-maxing for fun and profit and to a bit of a paradigm shift. To quickly explain what I mean, henceforth, if through your high-tier patronage you request a build from me, we will cover it on the channel at min-maxing for fun and profit. So in a few weeks, as we kick off Final Fantasy D20, please believe I have some characters to talk about. And also, but that's neither here nor there. Today, the video we're talking about is a video I think the Pathfinder community kinda needs. This class is real confusing, but also really good if you know what you're doing. So today, let's talk about how to build the Brawler. If you're liking what you're seeing, like, subscribe, punch the bell. Today, this episode of Min-Maxing for Fun and Profit does not go out to a patron. It goes out instead to AAA1E2R3 for the link that you can find in the description, because this class truly needs a cheat sheet, a flowchart, anything like that, just as much as the wizard does. So thank you so much, my friend, for pointing that out to me, because I will be playing a Brawler starting this coming Tuesday at the Inn of Planar Crossroads as we pick up Rise of the Rune Lords once again. And on that note, may I introduce you all to Skoros of Sandpoint, Verizian with a capital, Verizian. Beyond stoked. Now, let's hit it. So in case you didn't know, the Brawler is a full base attack, D10, hybrid of the Fighter and Monk. We've got a good fort, a good reflex, but not a good will. And the class runs around an ability known as Martial Flexibility. As a move action, a Brawler can gain the benefit of a combat feat they do not possess. The effect lasts for a minute. The Brawler must of course meet prereqs, and may use this ability a number of times per day, equal to 3 plus half their Brawler level. The Brawler can use the ability again before the duration expires to switch things. At 6th level, a Brawler can gain 2 combat feats as a move action or 1 as a swift action, using the first feat to qualify for the second. And at 10th level, a Brawler can grab 3 feats as a move action, 1 feat as a free action, so that's dumb. And then at 12th level, it bumps up to 1 combat feat as an immediate action or 3 as a swift. The capstone is real nice, grabbing any number of combat feats as a swift action, but that's where the Brawler gets its power and where it gets really confusing, because there's a lot of combat feats. Some of them are really good, some of them are really bad, some of them are really situational, and this video is to help everyone out there who's thought about playing a Brawler dig through the chaff and find some wheat. When we couple that with the Brawler's ability to get free 2-weapon fighting a la Brawler's Flurry, and buffs to combat maneuvers, the Brawler, in my opinion, though certain archetypes and dips and things could make it play differently, is a very combat trick, to speak in Magic the Gathering terms, kind of build. Think like a Naya-colored or maybe Jeskai-colored deck. You want to run up and punch things, but you have responses in combat to make yourself stand out. Now, as far as our feats that we actually have, remember, most of our feats are changing, and we aren't going to talk about a whole heck of a lot of our feats we actually have. Simply, we're just going to point them out. Power attack, combat expertise, combat reflexes, staples for the build, not for what they do, but because, well, a lot of things you might want to do require those feats as prereqs, and it helps clear the chain up a little. One of the things I like most about this class is the feats that are situational. You know, when you read a Pathfinder guide, the yellow feats, we don't commit to those. We get them when we want them. That's it. That's all. No longer is that, oh, I can't grapple it, it's too big and its CMD is too gigantic. That no longer plays a role for us, because instead we'll flex into something else. Now, as you can expect from me and a character that's scaling with unarmed strike damage, so not two-handing anything, Weapon Finesse and an Agile Amulet of Mighty Fists look real good on this character. And if you're going to go that route, Agile Maneuvers to use your dex for your CMB, also kind of a thing. In addition, the fact that you have so many feats basically free in this build because it does get bonus feats as it levels, indicates that one could take Nature Soul Animal Ally Boon Companion like we did with our Mounted Enchanter. Oh yeah, follow this card right here. I cast Charm Person, you have to, haha. Means that we can come in with an Animal Companion real easy. Now, of course, that could mean you grab a War Cat and break your game. Me personally, I'm taking a Falcon. The idea being flying, aiding others, and flanking buddies and scouts. But hey man, you do you. Now, let's talk about some of these flexing things, shall we? First and foremost, one of the best things a brawler can do, especially when you're buffing various CMB-based things, is to grab improved and greater the combat maneuverability of your choice. Sunder, Trip, Grapple, Dirty Trick, Bull Rush, the list goes on. Mechanically, this will get you the ability to not provoke when performing one of these, a +4, a 2 and a 2 from both feats, and various effects. Like Greater Bull Rush's ability to cause the pushback to provoke. Same with Trip, or extra actions and a grapple with Greater Grapple. Feels real good. Since we, the brawler, do act like we have 13 intelligence for combat expertise, and we get improved unarmed strike, grabbing Dirty Grapple means that as a full round action, we're grappling and dirty tricking. Debuff plus debuff equals real good. Hurricane Punch, also kind of hilarious, and I will say, both for the purpose of power attack and several feats, if you are a dex-based brawler, 13 strength is important to you. Because Piranha Strike does not count as power attack unless your GM is kind, and without power attack, or a 13 strength, a lot of these feats are not accessible to us. Hurricane Punch says when you hit the same creature with an unarmed strike, at least twice in the same round, you can attempt a Bull Rush combat maneuver as a swift action. So watch your action economy. Make sure you have that swift action, but hey, 1-2, you go buckle your shoe 4 squares back off a cliff. Seems fun. What can I say? Now, these next few are going to be kind of boring, but they are really good for the brawler. No other way to say it. Especially considering eventually you can grab feats as immediate actions. For example, it always feels real bad, unless you're a Shadow Dancer and no one can find you, to take dodge and mobility. However, 2 feats as a swift action at 10th level, dodge plus mobility, and then moving through someone's threat range, assuming you fail that acrobatics check, gives you a +5 to your armor class. Another good way to say that is, as a swift action, you have a Ring of Protection +5. Mostly, for what the effect is. That's pretty good, right? Can't argue with that one. Also, having power attack and strength means we can grab Cleave and Cleaving Finish. Cleave, of course, says, as a standard action, you may make a single attack at your full BAB against a foe within reach. If you hit, you deal damage normally and can make an additional attack using your full BAB against a foe that is adjacent to the first, also within reach. Cool, right? Whatever. Cleaving Finish is the one we're looking at today. If you make a melee attack and your target drops to 0 or fewer hit points as a result, you may make another melee attack using your highest base attack bonus against another opponent within reach. You can only make 1 per round with this feat, and I think we all know, as Pathfinders, we aren't going to see that happen that often. I don't think I've ever resolved a Cleaving Finish, ever. In my whole career, maybe once or twice. Having the ability to use Cleaving Finish when you need it is really cool. And remember, knowing you can do this is the only cost. There are not so many feats that you can pivot into, you just have access to all of them. Again, consider yourself the control wizard, but punching. Which also means that if it's more your jam to make 1 attack, grabbing the Vital Strike feat chains to make 1 attack as a standard action, adding multiple dice to your damage in place of having iteratives that might miss, costs you nothing. If you're in the scenario where you might be Vital Striking, but you don't have Vital Strike, but you want to Vital Strike, say that guy's got a really high AC, shabam, there it is. To go even farther, with the notion that we're the control marshal, we also can respond to shenanigans like invisibility. Blind Fight plus improved Blind Fight feel bad, no one ever wants to take them, but it will allow you to attack through concealment, re-roll for total concealments, and the opponent gets no benefit for being invisible and attacking you. Again, for nothing, just for knowing you have that. Anyway, that comes to the end of the staple stuff that I'm going to highlight today. Certainly there are more. The flowchart is enormous. There's no other way to say it. Those feats should see you through most encounters. Now let's talk about the fun ones. Now, some builds will get more mileage out of this. Dip fighter, so you can grab a scimitar. Because remember, the brawler is proficient with simple weapons plus hand axe, short sword, and weapons from the close fighter weapon group. I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure there are no close fighter weapons with an 18 to 20 threat range. Dip around, grab a thing, or just wait till you hit that natural 19 on a short sword. Say, if you worship Desna, I worship Desna. Butterfly's sting is kind of hilarious. You need combat expertise, you need to worship Desna, and, well, we have combat expertise, kind of a staple for us. When you confirm a critical hit against a creature, you can choose to forego the effect of the crit and grant a crit to the next ally who hits the creature with a melee attack before the start of your next turn. Your attack deals normal damage, they automatically confirm. This is real good if you're in a party with someone with a great axe, a scythe, a lancer, anyone with that ×3 or ×4 threat range. They often say that the control wizard is the true killer, the god of the party, if you will. He might not have dealt the killing blow, but he enabled it. You too can do the same thing. Or if you'd like to go just super crazy with it, get your hands on Pummeling Style, which requires Brawler's Flurry, a BAB of 6, and improved unarmed strike to say that when you full attack, or Flurry of Blows to make multiple attacks with unarmed strike, put all the damage together before DR, and then with Pummeling Charge at a BAB of 12 or a Brawler level of 8, you get Pounce. You can charge and make a full attack or Flurry at the end of your charge as part of the charge action. You can use Pummeling Charge in this way only if all of your attacks qualify for using Pummeling Style against a single target, but that one target's going to take all of your attacks in the round you had to move to him. But if you are strength-based, tack on Horn of the Cryosphinx. Whenever you make a successful charge attack while wielding a two-handed weapon in both hands, add 2 times your strength bonus to the damage roll. But wait, you say, that doesn't work for us. A monk can use this feat as long as he is wielding a two-handed weapon or both of his hands are empty. Remember, as a brawler, we count our total brawler levels as fighter levels and monk levels for the purpose of qualifying for feats, which should qualify us for Horn of the Cryosphinx because we're counting our brawler levels as monk levels. As part of the charge action, we pounce and then do double strength damage. Or, pain and suffering. Weapon focus with an unarmed strike, which of course gives you a +1 to hit, and counter punch with a dex of 18, combat reflexes, improved unarmed strike, weapon focus, a BAB of 16, or a level 12 brawler says once per round, when you're punching with both hands free and an opponent misses you, it provokes an attack of opportunity from you. You have to use an unarmed strike, that's totally cool. That's why I like the Swashbuckler so much. It's damage on their turn. And then we full attack on our turn, stacking it on. Now, one final feat before we knock it off for today. I think this feat might be staple for all the martials everywhere. At least the ones that aren't vital striking with a greatsword. Combat Rhythm. This is a feat that I think is more than worthy of being taken by your brawler as one of their perma feats. Have a BAB of 6 or be a 6th level monk. When you deal damage with a melee attack to opponent you have already damaged this round, so second attack, you can reduce the total of any voluntary penalties to your melee attack rolls imposed by actions or feats such as the power attack feat by 1 to a minimum penalty of 0. This reduction in penalties lasts until the beginning of your next turn and stacks with itself. It buys off your power attack as you swing in. It buys off the voluntary penalties, because they're voluntary, you're choosing to 2-weapon fight, to Flurry of Blows, to Brawler's Flurry, etc. This helps a class that often will miss with its later iteratives get in. I really like it. Now, as far as your gear goes, it's pretty standard, and follow this card right up here. We'll tell you all about the Big 6 once again. That's basically what you're looking for, with a couple of exceptions. A Dan Bong, and the bonus it gives to grapple, doesn't look bad on a brawler, especially considering a brawler's flurry can come from not your hands. So with the exception of not being able to qualify for some feats, there's no reason to not have one. And the brawling armor enchantment. Remember, armor enchantments are much cheaper than weapon enchantments. This was eroded from a +1 to a +3 bonus, but it says you get a +2 bonus on unarmed attack and damage rolls, including CMB checks to grapple. Your unarmed strikes count as magic weapons, but they already did, as we level anyway. It can only be applied to light armor, it's right up your alley, and it buffs you. As far as the optimized build goes, and if you don't know what that means, follow this card right up here. Switch hitter with a capital switch hitter. Is there somebody who's being a problem? Grapple him. Or, DC 10 plus half your hit dice plus your strength or dex, whichever is higher, or knock them unconscious. Support the control caster, let the Punisher run in coup de grace, or you yourself grab Throat Slicer and do it as a standard action next round and then move to the other dude. You have what you need when you need it, and that's incredibly powerful. What do you guys think? Have you played a brawler? If so, what sweet combos have you gotten up to in the past? Throw them in the comments. Let me hear all about it, because I literally will be playing a brawler soon. Help me! Anyway, next week on Min-Maxing for Fun and Profit, by patron request. I'm sorry, Ellie, I know I skipped you. But we'll be building, in Legacy Pathfinder, the anti-magic character. Want to geek that mage? Of course you do. See you next Saturday.